It's a termaputer or a comphimonal. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. And in this video, sorry, but I'm going to insult some intelligence here for a second and point out the obvious. This is a computer. This is a computer. In fact, you may recognize both of these computers. The Commodore 64 that I restored on a previous channel. Yes, it's marbled, but that's, whatever. And this is my K-Pro Turbo XT that I restored on the channel a while ago, did some upgrades, and I even showed off this AMDEC monochrome monitor working. And yes, I know. Well, no duh, it's a computer. They're designed for the computations of things and calculations, and also for playing fun games and software and business stuff and whatever you can imagine, right? Whereas this is a terminal, basically a dummy terminal. There's really not a whole lot to these. It's basically just CRT circuits to drive the CRT, ASCII characters in ROM, and some TTL logic to drive it all. Basically, it's, okay, Reader's Condensed version here, the monochrome display adapter card, a serial card, and a monitor all in one. These have basically no logic to them at all. The only thing they're designed for is they plug into computers or other server and mainframe to act as a remote display and keyboard input. Makes sense, right? Because, well, from a cost perspective, these made a lot of sense. You can have a centralized tower somewhere and have, that might cost $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $10,000, $20,000 if you're some IBM towers. And then you can have a couple of these scattered across tables and library, storefront, whatever, just to basically look up card catalogs, some of the early BBS stuff that was IntelliNet stuff, were main points of terminals. These have kind of died off and they're kind of a niche thing. You're probably wondering, why am I talking about the difference between computers and terminals? Well, because of this. This is, at first glance, another terminal. And by all accounts, it essentially is. You have RS-232, you have some more ports here that says data, you have something that says serial, keyboard with the standard phone jack style thing. Nothing too out of the ordinary with this machine. What I want to talk about this machine is, or what little information I have found on this machine, and kind of why it's a hybrid in a lot of ways of a computer and a terminal. In fact, it's a termaputer or a comphimonal. I have no idea what word I'm going to use with this, but I'm going to say termaputer. So specifically, this is the Burroughs ET2140, and it is a terminal. It is designed to connect to a terminal mainframe, something at like universities, colleges, basically connect to one of those big refrigerator or larger size mainframe units, and act as the remote display and input for it using the keyboard. And in fact, I'll admit, I know very little about this machine. In fact, I know very little about Burroughs in general. These were actually consolidated by a company and became known as Sperry. Now, I'm not going to do a whole detailed analysis of this because terminals really aren't 100% my thing, and hopefully somebody who watches this knows exactly what this is. I asked on a Facebook group, and I got some information. Somebody had used them, but I could never get, a whole lot of information. Fair enough. It's their terminal. In fact, I ignored this one for the longest time. I actually got this from the exact same place that I got the Texas Instruments professional computer. That weird cringy video that I did a while ago for December. This was sitting actually near it. And I kind of ignored it because, well, I knew it was a terminal. I mean, I saw the keyboard input, I saw the serial connection. Of course, it's just a terminal. And in fact, I just kept walking past it. And I never really gave it much thought because, well, I'm really not interested in terminals. I already have a terminal, which you saw before, that Televideo 905, which I really don't even know why I have it in my collection or my hoard down here because I've never really gotten it to work. Like, I don't know how to hook up a terminal to a computer to use it as a terminal or to even connect to a BBS to just have a little bit of fun with it. I'd love to learn if somebody knew how to do it step by step, like explaining to me like I'm 5. But anyway, I kind of walked past this thing for the longest time because I honestly did not know what it was. Besides, it's a terminal, and a bulky terminal at that. Until when I went back to grab the keyboard for that Texas Instruments, and I found this. And no, it's not a toaster. It is a dual drive external floppy drive. Now, the only reason why I grabbed it because I thought, oh, well, it'd be kind of neat because, hey, it's 5 1/4 floppy, might be useful for something. Until I saw the logo, Burroughs. Well, that's strange. Why would this floppy drive say Burroughs? And the only other connection is serial with a Terminator. Well, now that's strange. This goes to this machine. And inside of this floppy drive was an MS-DOS boot disk, specifically made for the Burroughs ET2100 series. In fact, I even popped it into a 486 machine and it read it. I could read the data off of it. It's just a generic MS-DOS boot disk that's branded Burroughs. But that got me thinking as to what the heck this thing is. This is not just a terminal. So I've actually torn this thing apart, and I have some footage of that I'll show you here in a second, but this thing is not just a terminal. It has an AMD 8086-2 CPU. It has expansion cards. I can't tell if they're ISA or not, but they have expansion cards. This is some sort of weird hybrid of a terminal and a computer. It runs MS-DOS while also being able to connect to whatever mainframe it could connect to instead of the floppy drive. Okay, so here's the internal of the machine, and as you can see, there's the 8086-2. And as for everything else, I cannot find any more recognizable chips. There's 2 BIOS chips, but there's also spots for what looks like 4 more, both odd and even. So you have some sort of expansion card here, which I don't know exactly what it seems to be doing. Some more expansion slots, which appear to be like 8-bit ISA, but they're spaced really weird. Another expansion card with another BIOS chip of some kind. And I recognize none of the chips, so I don't know what they do. There's some sort of weird pin header down there. The controller board for all the brightness and controls and stuff. If you look right there, there's a bunch of tiny pin headers, and I don't know what they're for. Another set of expansion headers, which again, I have no idea what any of this stuff's for. And what's interesting is, maybe if I can get a shot of it, that yellow thing that the light's on, that's a backup battery. It's a Cadnica S-SB3 Sanyo backup battery. And then there's the power board. So yeah, this is a very strange, it's basically an 8086 based computer, but I have no idea the memory or the RAM. If anyone's curious, it's a Toshiba based monochrome tube. So yeah, if anyone knows anything about any of this, please let me know. I could never get this thing to work, like boot up from the floppy, so it probably won't right now, but I'll show it to you real quick. It's kind of neat. So yeah, let's power this thing up and show you what it does. Pretty musical for a terminal. So it's given some error codes, 38, 25, and 75. I don't know what those error codes mean because I can't find much documentation on the specific model. No floppies in the drive, so it's probably going to give another error code. Or no, it actually will say no diskette ready or drive door open. So we're going to put in the Burroughs ET2000 MS-DOS boot disk from 1986. Now it says 1 of 4, but this is actually the boot disk, so this should work. I think that's drive A. Yeah, diskette, not system diskette. This is all I can ever get it to do. I can't do anything else. I've tried almost every type of boot disk I have except for, well, I guess I could try Platinum Series Computer Shoppers PC Clones Startup Utility Software. I mean, I could try that. I mean, because what's weird is I can read this in a standard DOS machine. So it's kind of strange that it won't just, you know, read. Yeah, even with the PC Shopper generic software, it does nothing. And I mean, who knows why it doesn't work? It could be the floppy drives are completely bad. I mean, I really have no way of testing them. They look like generic ones that I could just put into any PC. They have the same edge connector and all that, but something tells me that there's something weird about them. There could be something wrong with the driver board, because basically it's just a converter board that goes from the floppy system to serial that allows this machine to read it. It could be there's something wrong with the machine itself. It could be there's something wrong with the floppy disks themselves. Like it needs to be a specific type of DOS, like with the Texas Instruments professional computing. I don't know. It's just a weird little machine. I have no idea of how to even get it to work. I don't think I'll ever be able to get it to work unless somebody specifically knows what this is exactly because they've used one. And the other thing is, that's kind of the only reason why it's even in my collection, is because it's just so weird. Like, I have no use for it, and I can't even get it to work, and I don't know anybody around me that would even want this thing. And if they do, they're probably going to be so far away that shipping this thing's going to be a nightmare. So either way, I just wanted to talk about this whole thing because it's kind of neat. It's a weird thing in my collection, and who knows if it's ever going to work again. If you know what this thing is and all this kind of stuff, or if you know somebody who's used one, you know, I'd love to do more. Like, I like to at least see if I can get it to work. But considering I've tried every type of DOS to boot on it, I've tried all this other kind of stuff to get it to work, servicing the drives, servicing the machine, I just don't know if I'm ever going to get it to work or if it will ever work again. And I don't even know how to get any data to it because it seems to need some sort of proprietary thing for it to work. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching this video. If you liked it, hit the like button, comment down below if you've ever used one of these or know somebody that used one or anything like that, because I would love to, you know, hear about it and maybe send pictures or videos of one of these working correctly. And, you know, maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe it takes a certain type of DOS or a certain type of formatted floppy. I don't know. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload more content. Every subscriber helps get the channel to grow. Because as I'm talking right now, I'm actually getting more and more parts together to build a 46 DOS PC because, well, I have a milestone video coming up, and it's going to be building a 46 DOS PC. I've got almost all the pieces I need. I just got to find the case, which should be down here somewhere. And that being said, be on the lookout for more future videos, including more PC hardware, parts, and game reviews. So that being said, again, thank you everyone for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.